Hello, Libra. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Libra. So tonight we have the Two of Discs, which has everything to do with change, right? Things coming into balance, things slipping out of balance, and the never-ending infinite cycle of as above, so below, so below, as above. And what's the other part, right? As above, so below, so within, so without, right? So things are changing, that's for sure. So I want to go ahead and just reserve any kind of anxiety for what that change might be. But I don't know. If you're like me, the world is changing so fast. Every day I feel like there's just like at least 3 major things where I'm like, what is going on here? What exactly is happening here? Collectively, right? And so change doesn't, of course I would like to just be in a little nest somewhere hibernating, but change is very apparent recently, I think, for all of us. So maybe not so shocking when we hear about it happening in our own personal lives as well. Okay, let's see. We're going to lift and just kind of twirl this thing around. And I want to go ahead and say thank you so much for deciding to click on this reading. It is always truly a huge honor for me. It is a privilege and an honor, I should say. And I just love to be able to spend this time with you. So let's get started because we have some pretty cool looking formations here. We have a person sitting here. It looks like they're in a chair. So I'm going to go with the Empress because she is enthroned. She also looks to be surrounded by plants and animals, little deer up here and birds kind of flying around everywhere. And also even it looks like the face of a cat over here. You can see eyes and maybe the mouth would be right there. Okay. So the Empress is very much, in my mind, tied to Persephone. Persephone, if you don't know the mythology, she is the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, okay? And a mother goddess, a fertility goddess, the goddess of young children and pregnancy and childbirth and all these wonderful things. And Persephone is her daughter, okay? So she is kind of the bringer of spring, of life. If you could think of, somebody walking, and as they take each step, there are flowers blooming beneath her feet, and the animals are surrounding her, kind of like Snow White vibes, right? But she's also the same person, the same woman, the same goddess who is taken, right? She is kidnapped. She is forced to go to the underworld, the subterranean. And this is the inverted side of, well, spring. It is death. It is a place of darkness, and it's damp, and it's, it's maybe probably kind of scary. And she goes down and she has to marry Hades because he's the king of the underworld, okay? And she's going to be his queen. And this is difficult, of course. And if you know any of the the old mythologies, not just Greek and not just the Roman, from many cultures. These are stories that are morally and ethically troubled, right? A lot of things happening that you're like, what the heck? What? You know, and it's just taken as this is normal practice. This is what happens. This is what goes on. So her mother, she makes a deal, right? And she says, this is my daughter. I'm going to wage war if you don't let her come back to me. She better be on the day side, like right now, right? She's like hitting her watch. And so there is a deal that's made that she can come back during the spring and summer, and then during the fall she descends to the underworld. So this is supposed to be to some degree kind of aligned with Venus, right? The movements of Venus, although they are not exactly tied to the seasons in this way. But then we come to find out, right, that Demeter is absolutely running things in the underworld, and she actually really likes it down there. She's really kind of come into her power. She's not just a naive, frail, beautiful, wispy thing of spring. No, she is fortified. She can survive those cold nights. She can, the darkness, the brutality of it all. She can not only survive, she can, climb the mountain and rule things. And so when I see this, I know, not unlike the Queen of Wands, I know that you've been through it, right? You've been dayside, you've been nightside, you've had your ordeals, okay? Now, I'm not going to say this is, you're never going to have one again, but what I do know about you, Libra, is that you have met all of these troubles and you have continued to push through. Not only that, you're a very, very humble person, very flexible, very adaptable, right? You look for, you come into a situation and you start to look for, how are we going to work this out? What are we going to do? Where do we start? Let's make a plan, right? You're not just coming in and woe is me and I don't know what I'm going to do. And, we all have those moments where we wobble. We might get a little bit weak and feel like this is it. I'm never going to come back from this one. No. You, Libra, you know your power. And it might not be like some, showy kind of Leo, I'm the best, pushing your chest up and just trying to dominate everything. No, you come in there and you work. You do your thing quietly. I always think of Libra as being very aligned with like the Tao, right? You do your work, you finish your work, you put your work down and you forget about your work. You go on to the next thing. You're not attached to, the kudos and the praise and the, people flocking to you for advice or, whatever. That doesn't matter to you. What matters is that what you're doing in this life is meaningful. That you are having some kind of impact where you are, with your local community, with your family, within your, your domestic life, your work life. These are the places that matter to you. You are consistent. You show up. You say you do what you say you're going to do. You are trustworthy. These are rare qualities, but you absolutely exemplify them, okay? And I see you really living by your convictions. Not sometimes, not once in a while, but yes, all the time. All the time. Do you make mistakes sometimes? Yes, of course you do. But I see you in your garden. It is in full bloom. It is a beautiful thing. And I feel like this next cycle is going to be one of great growth. I feel like you have something to share with the world. I feel like you feel that pull. You have something to say. Most definitely. Now, we have the number 67. We have, I wonder if you have 2 children, maybe 2 grandchildren. But I feel like one is maybe missing from your life. I don't know if maybe they have passed on, or maybe they got lost somehow. But I do feel like this is a place where you lament. There's a great belovedness here. I mean, as we do for our children, our grandchildren. But I feel like this particular person in your life, there was so much mystery. I feel like even from a young age, they were very rebellious, but not in a way it's like they're pushing boundaries, but like in a self-destructive, like self-annihilation kind of way. They were seeking oblivion constantly, just chaos around them. And maybe they grew out of that, maybe not. I don't know, but I feel like it's like this thing you keep asking yourself, what is this, what is this mystery? How did this happen? I did everything I could. And maybe maybe it's something that's within the family. There's, addiction or mental health stuff or, and I get the feeling that there's addiction somewhere in here. I don't know for sure. It could be that this is somebody that just is very, oppositional or antisocial. And I mean that in a clinical way. Like they are somebody that is misanthropic. They maybe act out against other people. And that's something that maybe feels normal to them, right? It's not like a rare one-off. So I do feel like you try, and maybe you're still trying. Even in this moment, you might be watching this reading because you've been arguing and you just don't know what to do, where to turn. How do we fix this? What can I possibly say or give or take away or, I don't know. That's what I keep feeling is this, I don't know where to go with them. And so I see we have the rose within the square here. Okay, the rose is the mystery. In the occult and esoterian alchemy, the rose often symbolizes the mystery, especially if it's closed. It is an unwitnessed thing. It has not revealed itself yet. Now, when it's open, especially you see like in, like the Rosicrucians or, these kind of more like Gnostic leaning systems, the open rose with the cross, okay? And it's the revealing of the sacred, of the holy, the word, and so on. And so I see this as almost feeling like it is so kept away. In the olden days, in Rome, at least, or in Greece as well, in the Hellenistic era, that's where I know the most about the architecture of temples. They had within temples these interior rooms, okay, and they were only allowed to be entered by the highest of the priests and priestesses and nuns and monks and whatever they called themselves in the system. And within this room they often had a little closet or a cabinet or just like a hole kind of in the wall, and in that space, the monk's chamber or cabinet, and that's what it's called, they would keep the icon of the god or goddess that was being worshipped centrally at this temple. And it was never seen by anybody but maybe, the Hierophant or the high priestess. It was something to be taken care of by the most initiated, okay? So it almost kind of feels like this thing that is this access to understanding what the heck happened here. Everybody is a mystery, but some, it's more apparent than others. And in this case, I feel like there's been no movement on trying to figure out what happened, what, was this my doing, and we all have that feeling. We all have this feeling of, I must have caused this problem with this person. They must not like me because of something I did. Or they must be acting like that to make me mad. Or, or I messed up as a parent and that's why, they do the things that they do. Well, okay. I mean, maybe to some degree we obviously create the universe our child lives in for probably many years, but we are not the only thing, right? And for the most part, I think people do not, hopefully they do not live in, motivated by just the spite that they have for us or their family or whatever, right? And so I feel like for this situation, the only thing that we can do is the self-work. I feel like so often when I experience some kind of impasse with somebody I care about, or I can't figure out why can we not stop arguing? Why can't we get on the same page? 100% of the time, at least on my side where I can clean up my side of the street, right? I need to be doing self-work. It's not about the relationship. It's not about what they're doing or how they make me feel. No, nobody makes me feel anyway. I choose to feel how I feel, okay? Or hold on to how I feel and think, this is their fault. They made me feel that way. No, I'm in charge of how I feel. And I can feel the sting for a second, but I can decide, am I going to hold on to that or am I going to let it go? And so I feel like here is where you start maybe expanding some of your spiritual practices. Maybe, this is a good time for leaning into some counseling or therapy or support groups. If this is something to do with addiction, I will always shout out 12-step. I know not everybody loves it. It's not for everybody. It has helped me. And that is like AA, NA. But they also have something called Al-Anon. And this is for people who are family members of people who are in addiction. Especially if you are a child of somebody in addiction, you're married to somebody who has an addiction problem, your children have addiction problem, you know, whatever. This is a good place to go. If you believe in the 12-step stuff or not, I feel like at least to find some fellowship, to hear the sharings of people who are going through situations that might be kind of similar. You might be going through the same kinds of emotions. You might need to, you know, just find some tools for yourself, some support, just to hear somebody like, you know, say to you, you know, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this for yourself. Thank you for being here. You're not alone. What you're going through, you're not alone. Sometimes we just need to hear that. Sometimes we need to also hear that our situation is not so unique. Because things like addiction or mental health or, you know, just mistreatment, you know, somebody mistreating you, it's the nature of these kinds of illnesses to alienate us. They do. The person suffering from the thing and their families, because things like addiction are family diseases. Okay. So we all need support. We all need a place to go to talk about this kind of stuff, you know. And I know some people, they get annoyed that I talk about this type of serious stuff in a reading. I know this is entertainment, but I also am, you know, the child of addiction. I am myself am an addict. I've seen lots of people suffer and lose to addiction. I've seen it destroy families. I have a great deep well of love and concern for people just surrounding not only addiction but mental health. And I've shared on here, my husband and I are both neurodivergent, right? I have ADHD and PTSD and I'm on the spectrum, and you know, just I got stuff going on, right? And it's not necessarily a negative or anything, but it's different, right? And so I just like to talk about this stuff because I want people to know at least one place in the whole world, right, where they can come, and they can also, you can comment about it, you can email me. It's all, everything is heard without judgment here, okay? So that's why I talk about that kind of stuff. I think it's so important. Now, we also have the number 10. That looks important. We also have, if you've ever seen a dandelion and its seed pod, we have that right here. So, a wish granted. Okay? That's where we're at. You're coming into a place where a wish will be granted for you. We also have, it looks like an angel right here. You can see the wing, okay, and the head. And so I do feel like, even though it feels like everything has been uphill recently, you are really coming into this place of a greater balance of that shadow aspect of life and being in that illuminated solar energy, okay? So I see you really thriving in your physical world and your domestic life at work, you know, struggling, you know, definitely with some of the family dynamics, of course, but I don't think that you are letting it disrupt other aspects of your life like it has before, okay? Now, I also feel like you have consciously been working against maybe a melancholy setting in. And I'm saying that because we have the crawdad here, and we also, it looks like, have maybe the beginning of the crawdad over here. Now, you see the crawdad or the lobster in the moon card. It is representative of the melancholy. Okay, what is that? That's like depression, kind of. And so I feel you really actively working to not let that take hold, okay? Maybe you are somebody who deals with seasonal depression. You know, maybe you are somebody that is generally just kind of prone to having low periods. But I do think that this time you're really kind of catching it before it gets really, like, you're really locked in there, you know. And I know sometimes you start to realize, like, I'm not feeling myself. I'm starting to feel like the other me. I'm starting to descend a bit here. And you do all the things you can, and yet, you know, you still start to feel like you're getting in there. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just one of those things. But I feel like in this situation, getting ahead of it, you know, and being really proactive. I'm proud of you for that. Now, I also want to mention that there is a person with an R name. And I feel like they passed away a while ago. But this almost feels like maybe a mother, grandmother, maybe an older sister. But this is the thing. They keep showing me their hand, like it's handwriting. Like what is that called? What is this? Calligraphy. Yes, that's what it's called. Calligraphy. Like, almost kind of reminds me of that. It's like very beautiful script. And they keep showing it to me. And it's like, they're like, they'll know. They'll know. If they see this, they'll know. Right? I can't reproduce what you're showing me. But I can explain. It feels... Yes, it's like their script was beautiful. I almost feel like maybe you have like something framed of theirs or displayed in the living room, maybe like towards the entryway. I don't know. It's in there somewhere. But they have, something's going on. They're around heavily lately. I wonder if somebody's getting married. Because I almost feel like it's like they feel like they're missing out. And it's like they're trying to get you on the shoulder. Hey. You know, you have to you have to be my proxy, kind of, right? So I feel like in a lot of ways you carry this person with you. Like they maybe passed away younger than expected, or you know, just before a lot of things happened in the family. And so I feel like in a lot of ways it's like I live to carry you with me, right? And I feel like there's just such it's like such a beautiful recognition of this. Okay, now we're going to go over to our lucky numbers. We're going to do 3 lucky numbers. Number 33. Ooh, number 53. Oh, is that even on there? Okay. 98. All right. Then we'll do our inner child oracle card. And I'm going to flip through, stop where it feels right. And it says... 15, get lost. Get out of here. Get lost. Fall deep into the realm of imagination. Fall deep into the realm of imagination. Now, we're also going to do our indigo sage cards. These are the air element. And these are from Akal Pridham. A culpritum. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. I mispronounce almost everything, so it's not personal. All right, let's see. I'm going to flip and stop where it feels right. Okay. And what is that? It looks like a mushroom. These are so pretty. The paintings on these are gorgeous. Okay, number 22, healing grace. 9 initiations. Let any resistance to joy dissolve. Every breath unfolds you with conscious, enfolds, sorry. Every breath enfolds you with conscious presence. All right, I like it. Okay, Libra, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. Thank you for being here with me tonight. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, I'll say again, I love you. I got to hurry up. Dinner is on the table. And so I got to get up there before it gets cold. And yeah, I love you. I love you. I love you. We'll talk soon. Good night. Good night. Good night.